Alrighty. Hello, chat. How's it going? Good to be back. Let's see, is the camera working? Is the sound working? Think everything's groovy. Looks like you can probably hear me. And as a great man once said, it's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. And it's time to break some shit in Max MSP tonight. That is the plan. Thanks, I'm glad I'm on. Hello, Teeth Engraved. Thanks for joining us tonight. And, yeah, I'm gonna have some fun here. It's time for notes tonight. We are gonna be all about notes. So let's review what we got so far, if we got any new people on tonight. And give me 1 second to make sure I got things. Yeah, things look good. What up, Beard Pills? Thanks for joining us. Good to have some folks out there. And if it's anybody new tonight, feel free to introduce yourself in chat, or feel free to just hang out and watch while we do shit here. All about just hanging and building and breaking things and learning things. So yeah, so far, we got our handy dandy PS3 controller. We select the PlayStation 3 controller over yonder using the high object. And we have 8 notes set up and mapped to each of the buttons on our controller. And I think, yep, we're still controlling our DX7. And we have each of the joysticks mapped to some fun little parameters here. Some happy little parameters. Shit is still happy, yo. We are doing good. I've got us mapped to an E major scale, which we chose just by picking the notes on each of the keyboards here for each of our buttons. And, let's see, last time we put in a MIDI mapping mode so that we could turn this on, pause the output from the joysticks, and be able to map stuff a lot easier in live without getting too much data all at once and getting it all confused. So tonight, we are going to do octave buttons to start off with. That is the plan. And to do that, we need to figure out what our up-down buttons are on our D-pad, which means we have to come over to this little no man's land of our patch here and see what's coming out of the high message. No, I want to say message box. It's an object. What's wrong with me? I'm still doing that little bit of the stream where I'm all nervous at the beginning. We were off to a good start, chat. But now I'm forgetting words. But that's alright. This is what we do. I forget words at work too. It happens to everybody. So I got the this thing open where we print stuff. Gonna unlock the patch. Gonna give us a happy little print object. And if you remember, this route object looks for pairs of numbers. Or anything, really. It looks for a list of 2 things. Numbers, letters, doesn't really matter. Teeth Engraved says, woo-saw. Thank you. I appreciate it. Woo-saw. Right. So we're looking for pairs of things. In this case, pairs of numbers. And if I plug this last outlet into print, we're going to get some stuff coming from our controller. And every time that the route object sees a number it recognizes on the left, it's going to put the number on the right through one of these outlets that matches. So if it gets 26, because this is the first number in our list, it's going to come out the first outlet on the left. So anytime we get 26 on the left in our print here, we get whatever number matches with it. Cool? Cool. So we need to figure out what numbers our up-down pads are going to send. And we've already filtered out a bunch of other data, so this shouldn't be too hard to see. In fact, I'm hitting up now, and I'm seeing a lot of 35s. Yep. Looks like that's pressure sensitive too, but not something we really need for an octave switch. And I still think that up-down is like the most logical choice for an octave. You know, matches what we're used to on keyboards, and we're giving our users enough weird shit to get used to with playing a PlayStation controller. So, yeah, up, down. We've got to throw a little 35 in here. Yep, everything should still match up, hopefully. Yeah, just adds another outlet here. And yep, now we're just, our print scooted over one, so it's matching up with 35 here. You can even see it's labeled. Boom. Outputs if, come back. Outputs if input matches 35. So when I press on that, yep, we're getting pressure numbers here. So cool. Let's move this print over. See if we can figure out what down is next. 37. That makes sense. 37. In a row? Alright, we need 37 here. 35, 37. Now we can get rid of this print. We don't need it anymore. We put this down so I have two hands, and I can do this faster. We need a send. What did we name our other pad buttons? Ah, here we go. Send pad left, send pad right. So let's call these send pad up, send pad down. 35, 37. Groovy. Put these in line here. Maybe in some semblance that they make sense. Let's put left on the left. Let's put down underneath. Let's put right over here on the right. Move our comments over. Keep stuff kind of clean. We're old pros now, though. We don't need number boxes here for these. We know what we're getting. And all we need is an on-off for this. We need to know up means go up one octave, down means go down one octave. So, let's steal these. Option drag to copy paste. Then I change my mind and do Command X to cut. Put them over here. Yep. And now we're going to change these to receives. I know I could just use S and R for these, and if I was running out of space, I'd do that. But, personally, I've come to this place with programming in general where I don't like abbreviations. And, I'm sick of them. Everything is an abbreviation these days, and there's too much crap to remember as it is. I like stuff to be readable. And that way I can debug it later when inevitably, you know, I have to. Alright, so I will put number boxes here so that I can think straight and see what's coming in. These are for our MIDI mapping stuff from last time. I'm going to move this out of the way. This is kind of done, so it can go over here. Alright. So, once we get some numbers, we just need to know if this is not 0, really. So let's just use a greater than. Greater than 0. And same thing over here. Connector up. And I do believe... Now, if I were to say... select 1. Well, let's test this first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I've had too much caffeine. I'm going too fast. Let's make sure we're not being stupid about anything. I believe this should give us a 1 if we're at greater than 0, or a 0 if we're not. Probably a simpler way to do this, but whatever. As I always say, just get something that works first. Refactor later. Yep. Up gives us an X. Here, I'll zoom in for you, chat. Boop. So, up gives us an X. Down gives us an X. Up, down. Beautiful. Alright, we got our input, yo. Whoops. Playing some notes by accident. That's okay. Now, let's change that into a bang. So, I'm going to say select 1. Because this toggle outputs a... Oh. Now I'm thinking I don't need this toggle. But it's a nice visual feedback. So when we get a 1, we're going to get a bang. And we don't need anything with a 0, because all we want to do is switch the octave when we press. We don't want to do anything when we release the button. This is not a temporary switch. We just want it to increment and decrement. So, connect that up. Now we should get a button press. Up, down, up, down. When I up, down, touch the ground. Alright. Now we have to actually think about this. We've got our buttons. We need a source of truth for what the current octave is. And I need to think about if we want to do that over here, or if we want something inside of our note patchers. So, if we were to put an octave number here, we'd have to then send that to our patchers somehow. So I'm thinking we're going to end up in these patches anyway. Let's open this up and see where a good place would be to switch the octave. Open original. Let's make this a little bigger. So here's what we're doing with our note buttons. Get out of presentation mode. And, right, so here's where we're storing our pitch. Comes out of the keyboard here. This is just to be able to monitor it. And then it sits in this happy little integer box until something tells it to send to note out over here. So what we want to do is then alter that so that it can be plus 12 or plus 24. So we're going to need to receive, let's do this. Let's make a receive and call it octave up. I'm going to follow my naming convention in here where I'm using, it's called camel case when you use all lowercase with underscores for spaces. So let's do receive octave up, receive octave down. Cool. Now, I seem to remember, aha, I thought I remembered this. There is an inc.dec object in Max, which stands for increment decrement. You can open up the help file and see how this works. Ah, yes, right, so you can connect it to a number box like this. And when I click up, we go up. When I click down, we go down. So that's exactly what we want. Let's see, when connected to a number box, click the upper half. Yep, all right. So what if we want to control this without a click, however? What messages does it take? It takes a bang to output the current value. It takes an int to store as the current value. Right? Okay. Float. It takes the messages dec to decrement and inc to increment. Okay, I like it. And we're going to want to set it as a default value so that it doesn't alter anything until we hit a button. Alright, start to see how this could work. Whoops. Boop. I said unlock, thank you. Steal this. And let's see, we can say set to a particular number. I bet there's a place we can set a default inside of this, though. So let's grab this, paste, and what we're going to do is put this before the iBox, because we don't want to... Okay, let's think about this. Do we want to trigger our output when we hit octave up? I think I would expect that. So if I'm playing a note and I hit octave up, would I want that note to re-trigger and immediately sound up? I think I would. Well, first of all, let's connect this up. And what we're going to need to do, still kind of sketching here, is we're going to need to multiply this by 12. Because this is number of octaves, and there's 12 notes in an octave. And let's hook it up to the left inlet here. We're going to trigger output every time. Let's put an integer under here so that we know what we're getting. And over here, instead of just sending a bang, we're going to want to send... Let's leave the bang there so we can see what's happening. We're going to want to send a message. So M for message, ink to go up, deck to go down. Let's see if we've got that much working. One thing at a time. So now we need a send to match these. And I'm going to save this, which is dangerous. I probably should have done a save as here, but we are going to live dangerously, chat. Here are our receives. Let's turn them into sends. Alright. Connector up. And now, if we've done things right so far, let's lock this. If we've done things right so far, when I hit the up button, we should get a 1 in here, which should get multiplied by 12 and give us 12. Beardville says the radical dangerous. I love it. I love it. That's going to be the title on YouTube. Okay. Not great. It's a good thing we checked this so far. See what's happening? We have 96 here. That's not what we want. And I think if we jump over here, it'll be easy to see why. Yep. Okay. That's because we're getting pressure data. So, in fact, I can illustrate this even better if I hook a print up here. Watch this, chat. Let's clear this. No, don't close it. Ruining my shit. Clear it. There. Watch when I... hitting more notes. Watch what happens when I press up. Just tap it. We got like 6 bangs happening there. Lots and lots of bangs. Not great, but we can fix it. That's okay. All part of the fun. So what's happening is that we're getting... Every time we get any number that's over 0 here, we're triggering this bang. And what we want to do is only trigger it on a change from 0 to 1. So we need a change object. And let's set it to a default of 0. And let's simplify things a bit. We actually don't need this anymore. What we want to do, I believe, is just send the output if it has changed from the previous, which means do this. Let's do a print, see if we've fixed it. So if this works, we should only get a 1 once when I press the button. No matter how long I hold it. It's working. Great. My pressure is changing. It doesn't matter. When I let it go, we should get a 0. Yep. Press it, we get a 1. Let it go, we get a 0. Excellent, excellent, excellent. See, that's why we test as we go. If we had just hooked this all the way up to the notes, we would have gone 72 octaves up and blown everything to Kingdom Come. No one wants that. Cool. Looks good, looks good. We know what's up now. We probably don't need this extra bang. Let's connect this. Put that up here. Let's reset this to 0. And this. This is just a regular number box as far as I know, by the way. So, let's pretend we're back at 0 now, and let's see if it does what we want. Octave up. We should get 1 times 12. Yay! Octave down. Back to 0. Up, up, up. 36. Down, down, down. Alright. Into the negative numbers. And that's fine, actually. So we're going to start at 0, so that's an unaltered octave. So it's whatever you set it on the keyboard here. And anytime you go up or down, we get plus or minus. Perfect. All right. Oops. So now what we need to do is be able to add this to whatever the pitch was that we set on our keyboard. And let's see. So we've got it waiting here in this I box. I think that what we want to do, let's make a plus object. I'm going to open the help because I seem to remember that there is a related object that will always output no matter which inlet you're using. I thought it was like plus with a with an exclamation mark or something. Well, we could Google that, but it's not important, really. We can just use a bang. So let's add this together. We're going to set that to a default of 0. Integers are fine here because notes are whole numbers. We're going to put it in here. And yeah, really any time that we change either of these, I assume we're going to want to hear the result. So let's connect the I up to the left inlet. And let's say anytime we get an octave here, an octave change, we're going to trigger first the integer and second a bang. So the integer is going to go in the right here, and the bang is going to go in the left. Bang is going to go into that I box and send the note. That looks good to me. What do you think, chat? Is it going to work? I don't trust it, so I want to have a number box here so that I can see what we're getting. Oh yes, and we need an initial value here. We could use this integer. So let's open up the inspector, though, and see if there is anything that we can use here to set an initial value. There is not. You know what? That makes sense, actually. This object's only job is to increment or decrement whatever you connect it up to, so it shouldn't be keeping track of the state of whatever number it's altering. That's not its job. One job per object. This is what we're altering. So this should have an initial state of 0, which we can probably set in here somewhere. Minimum, maximum. Yeah. You know what I'm thinking of is patter. Once we hook this up to make presets, that's where we're going to be storing the initial value. So let's just use a load bang or a load mess right now and make this 0. Yep, cool. So that should start at 0. Let's make these patch cords purty. Up here, up here. Looks good. There are a lot of patch cords going to this one little I box over here. So while I'm in here, I'm going to refactor that one small thing. And say... I have to think for a sec. Right, okay, so we have our changeable argument here. Number 1, or hashtag 1, that gives a name to this particular bpatcher. So that's going to be square button, triangle button, whatever, something to make it unique. Bob, Jane, as we saw. So I'm going to say send hashtag 1, because we want to keep the send within this patch. And call it note. How about play note? Play note. There we go. That is going to go from here. Yep. So just getting rid of some excess patch cords while we're in here. Receive. Anytime I see a bunch of stuff going to one inlet all at once, I find that this is a good thing to do. It's going to keep your patches nice and healthy and easier to debug. So, right. Actually, here's a real safe way to play it. I know this trigger bang is going to that eye box over there. So I'm just putting a send connected to that same outlet. Then I'm going to click on this cable and drag it over to this receive so that I know for sure it's going to the right place. Awesome. Let's put this up here. And now we can make a copy of this and hook it up here as well. Delete that. This is node on. This is node off. It can go to the same place. Alright, these are velocities. 0 goes directly over here. Let's think for a second, is node off gonna fuck with this? No, it's just sending a different velocity and then re-triggering the same node. So that's great. This should probably work. Let's not change anything else yet. We want to do little bits at a time. So in case I got a wrong patch cord or misnamed something, we haven't changed too much. Alright. Lock it. Save it. I think presentation mode can stay the same. Would be kind of nice to see the display on this keyboard, but we could come back to that. Yeah, let's close it and see if this works. Save. Lock the patch. Oh, and it's reloaded, so we need to reset our notes here real quick. Let's stick in E major. Square is going to be E. Triangle is going to be F sharp. R1 is going to be G sharp. So light, medium, heavy. Punch, 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 if we were in Street Fighters. The first 3 notes of our scale. And we have A, B, C sharp for the kick buttons. X circle R2. And then L1 and L2 are the 7 and the octave. So that'd be, what are we? D sharp and E. Alright. Default velocity 64. We're going to have to reset this to the IAC driver on every one of these. Cool, cool. And here we go. Let's see if it works. Fingers crossed, chat. First, let's play some notes. Yep, getting some sound. Cool. Yep, notes are working. Let's go up an octave. And now we should hear it all at once as soon as I press this button. Here we go. Did it work? I don't think it worked. Oh no, maybe it did. I think it did. Let's go down a couple octaves. Something seems fishy, chat. I feel like we have some stuck notes here. Something is fishy. Hope you like this chord. Okay. Off and on again. This is why we need a panic button. Alright. What did we do? Let's use new view so we can actually see what's going on. Unlock this. So we have E here on our square button, which is 40. So let's see what happens when I go up. Seems like we are at -1. Okay, so that makes sense. The pitch here is 52. -1 is 40. That makes sense. We good. We good. Let's go back up. Goes up to 52. Okay, it is working. We just don't have a patch that shows it super well. Up to 64. Oh. Oh, chat. I know what we did. So, if I'm holding the button and I hit up, we are triggering a new note at that new pitch. You can see it change here. But what we're not doing is turning off the old note. See how it's still just noting along there? That is our problem. Alright. Whoops. Not what I wanted. Unlock. Unlock. I said unlock the patch. Let's not do that in new view, actually. That can be dangerous. And I guess I should elaborate on that more. So, new view with B-patchers is super helpful because, like we did just there, we were able to look at exactly what was going on in real time in the square button patch. And you can edit inside of new view. I have just learned to put a little asterisk there because occasionally data that you don't intend to save will get saved in your patch there. And we don't want that. See how I've got, when I clicked on this and said object open original, we have receive #1 instead of in new view where I say receive square button. And in here we're free to edit and it'll just reload inside of each of these B-patchers and we're safe. So anyway, what's going on is whenever this changes, we need to trigger a note off for that previous note. That is tricky. That is tricky. So we still have our previous note stored inside of this iBox. We need a way to trigger this. So when this changes, we need a way to trigger the new note as we're doing by sending... Aha. Okay. We need a way to trigger the new note, which we're doing right now by sending a bang over to this iBox. But we need a way to also trigger the previous note without the octave with a velocity 0. Otherwise, we're going to get stuck notes. Okay. Thinking. So this is going to always trigger a note on. Let's make a copy of it. And it's going to trigger a note off. So this same pitch is going to go in here. And instead of receiving play note, we're going to receive, let's call it stop note. Dang it. Need more space. Move this up. Out of my way. This up here. This over here. Yep. Alright, so we're going to have that same note stored in here. And what we need to do is then trigger it with a 0 velocity. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, so we can send a pair of numbers to represent the note number and its velocity. See how this one has a 0, so it's a note off. That's what we want. So we're going to use an object called POC for that. Or pack. Doesn't really matter. We're going to pack. Pack creates a list. We're going to pack an integer with a 0. That integer is going to be our note number. And it's going to go in here, and anytime it changes, we can watch this happen. We will get a list of the two numbers, so we can test that out, make sure I'm remembering stuff right. If I put a 25 in here, we should get 25-0 out. And we do. Beautiful. So this is going to go over here, and it's going to go directly into note out. And now we need to trigger this whenever we trigger a new octave. So let's turn this into a send. And thankfully we already have a trigger object set up here for whenever we change octaves. So first we're going to send the integer. So, okay, now it's time for a comment. First thing we do, send octave offset. So that's going to be plus 12, minus 12, etc. That's the I there. Second, bang to play the new note. Third is going to be bang to stop the old note. That should do it. I like to put a comment next to trigger objects that get long. I think that helps to keep sanity intact. So we want a second bang here. Because without this, all you see is just trigger BBI, and you're like, what the fuck does that even mean? Okay. And what order should it be in? Having these named sends and receives help, because you can see where things are going. Ugh, and now we've lost our patch cords. Yeah, this is why. This is why. Where the hell was this I going? This I was going here. Cool. Alright. I think that's good. Save that. Close it. Actually, let's open it back up again. I want to try something cosmetic real quick while we're in here. I think... Actually, no, fuck that. Let's see if this works one thing at a time. Gotta keep your stuff in check. Oh my god, I have to reset all these friggin' notes. Okay, we got this, chat. Hang in there. Let's do regular old C major. I'm gonna say C. D. Stuff is exploding outside. That's exciting. Happy 4th of July. F. G. A. B over here. C over here. Cool. Oh, right. Set the note out. We got this, chat. Hang in there. Hodl. Woohoo. Cool. Now let's try it. Oh, right, this little bug. Do something with the velocity. There we go. Now let's go up an octave. And let's go look in the DX7. Then we'll really be able to see what's happening. So there's our notes. Let's go up. Hey, it works! Haha! Bitchin'. Down didn't work. I spoke too soon. In fact, we have stuck notes again. God damn it. I have a feeling... Let's turn that off and on again. I think we did this right. It worked once. I have a feeling that this is the max uncertainty principle, and we actually just need to turn this off and on again. Close. Reopen. Let's do it again! One more time with feeling. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And this is why our next feature is going to be the awesome scale setting menu that Teeth Engraved suggested. So that we don't have to do this manually every time. Hell yeah! Set that, set that, set that. I guess I don't have to do all of these, but I really want it to, like, all work. Alright. Oh, hey, we have someone new in chat. What's going on, Andremia? Let's see, did I pronounce that right? Andremia, hello! We are breaking some more stuff with the PS3 controller synth. We just added in octave switches, so that's super exciting. Oh, I'm glad I got it right. Thanks for joining us. And also, Teeth Engraved said, try it on the Mellotron. It might be more apparent when the note changes. Yeah, sure, good call. Let's do that. Let's change over from the DX7 here. And, I think all we need to do for that, let's jump into audio units and open up our fancy little Arturia Mellotron. And yeah, we're just debugging our new fancy octave switches in Dreamia. We've got it so that we can play a whole scale on all of the buttons now. So square, triangle, and R1 are the first three notes in your scale. And then X, circle, R2 are the next three, and then L1, L2 are the last two. So you've got a full scale there. And left, right on the D-pad controls velocity and makes them quieter or louder. And up, down is now going to say go up an octave or down an octave. At least that's the hope. And yeah, Teeth Engraved says FM patches can do weird stuff when you change pitch. True that. True that. I think this is a great idea. Strawberry flutes? Yeah, sure, let's stick to that. Great. Yep. I just accidentally played the Simpsons theme notes. Alright, let's enable MIDI in and cross our collective fingers. I'm going to resize the window a little bit. There we go. We don't really need this view, but whatever. Okay, cool. Let's jump back over to our patch. Let's turn shit on. Alright, I'm stoked, chat. I have a good feeling about it. So, PlayStation 3 controller. And now we're going to choose some notes. Oh, they remembered. That's odd. It probably shouldn't have done that, but okay, I'm fine with it. Did I already do this? I swear I turned this off and on again. Okay, well. Beardville says that tritone. Yep. Teeth Engraved. Turn the sustain all the way up on the Mellotron, or the note will stop after a couple seconds. Yes, that's a good call. Thank you. Sustain. Yeah, let's do that. And da 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 da. Perfect. Yeah, thanks for the tip. Good call. All right. And that's what we're here for. We get to give each other tips, and y'all can help me when I do dumb things, and I can teach you things, and it's just a happy-go-lucky thing of, oh, my Discord server is almost ready. That's going to be next week. Then we can all share max patches and music in there, and if other people are doing streams, we can all check them out, or, you know, Zoom meetups. There's some pretty cool Max MSP meetups happening. Next week, I will be sharing a Discord server with all of you. Alright. Notes. Okay. Yep. Alright, we got notes. See if it works. Fingers crossed, chat. Okay, I needed to press the button again. Okay, something's weird, but we're close. Interesting. Alright, I press square, we get note on at C. We are now in the debugging stage where we have to figure out what the hell is actually happening. So before we even try to fix it, we need to know what the pattern is. So, without the octave switches, are things working? They are. Alright, we can play notes at different velocities. Yep. So what is happening when I hit octave up? Let's focus on octave up first. Let's unlock this. Let's do a new view so that we can spy on our patch and see what's happening here. Let's see. Teeth engraved. The mellotron cuts off below a certain note. It won't play real low. Ah, okay. That could be part of what's happening here. But I still think something odd is going on. So note on. Now we're going to go up one. Yeah. Aha. Okay, so I'm still pressing the button. We saw our octave go up, but we didn't hear a new note. But if I play it again, we are getting the up an octave note. Okay, so we have a pattern. The issue is that we are... Last time we tried this, we were getting stuck notes. And now what we're having is we're not immediately triggering the new note. Okay, so let's trace through our signal flow. Next step is why? Why is this happening? We know what is happening, and now we need why. So... when we change octaves, this is happening. I think I know. So when we change octaves, we get the new note number here. So we're starting with pitch 48. If I go up, it goes up. If I go down, it goes down. So we're good there. We're going up and down in 12s. And let's see. And that's going to trigger with whatever the velocity is here. I think this is throwing it off. So we have a... Oh no, look, I see what we did. Look, we got these backwards. So we even wrote out our steps and we still got it backwards. Step 1 is send the octave offset. Step 2 is a bang to play the new note up or down the octave. Step 3 is a bang to stop the old note. And we've got... Oh, no, we did get it right. So, new note, the octave offset, rather, this I, goes over here and sits in this plus box. The bang to go play the note happens and gets received up here and sent through here. And then immediately the bang to stop the note happens. I think these are interfering. Teeth engraved. It probably does the same thing in a high register too. I love that plugin, but I think it only sounds across a couple of octaves. That is a good point to keep in mind. But I think that what is happening here... So let's check something real quick. I'm not going to save this, but I do want to unlock this patch briefly. Come on. Alright, fine. Let me think. So let's open original. And Dreamia, you truly came just in time for us to break some stuff, just for you. So let's disconnect this note off for a moment. Test our theory. And that way we can also test what Teeth Engraved mentioned, which is the limited range on this plugin. So our stop note is now not connected up to anything. And if our theory is correct, then we will play a note, change the octave, and we will hear the same note continue. So let's just do one note here. I'm going to do a C. I'm going to send this to the IAC driver bus. Give it some velocity. Up an octave. Right, so we have both notes. Right. But we are immediately triggering the new note. So yes, that confirms our theory. So we need a better way of stopping the previous note. So when we say play the note... Oh, chat, I see what we did. So look what happens when we say note on up here, when we're getting it from the square button. First we send a bang to trigger the velocity value. Then we send a bang to trigger the note. So let's make another send here so that we can not have this mess of patch chords. So before we play the note, we need to say play velocity. And that's going to be this patch chord. So I'm going to drag this over here. I'm going to make a receive. And that goes over here. Perfect. And this we're going to also want to bring over here. So we want to trigger the velocity because what we had happening was this 0 still hanging out here from stopping the previous note, I think. So when we play the new note, we want to play it first with the current velocity. So we need another bang in here. And we need to adjust our comment. Bang to trigger current note on velocity. Make this a little wider. Make this over here. You're number 3 now. And you're number 4 now. Cool. I'm so glad I wrote that comment out. Alright, so you're now a send. So this should work the same way as the square button does now. When we get a bang to play the note, first we play the velocity, and then we play the note, and then we trigger the stop for the previous note. Alright. And now I think we can safely connect this back up. Let's see if it works. Close it. Save it. Set a note. Set the ISC driver bus. Set a velocity. Play it. Let's go up. Fuck. What did we do? Alright. Alright, chat. Shit's getting tricky. And I need to take 5 minutes and grab some water real quick, but I promise I won't debug it without you. I will All right, and we're back. And it's time to break out the big guns. Can you hear me now? Think we're good? Just muted it while I took a second. All right, so do I have MIDI monitor? I do have MIDI monitor. So I highly recommend that y'all download this. It's free and it's incredibly useful for things like this, because I want to see what we are actually sending. So you can check your MIDI sources here, and we have the bus 1 showing up. So we should be able to see what's actually getting received by Live here, rather than relying on our ears. So, note on, note off. Pitch 48. And we can see, yep, that from bus 1 we have note on, note off, C2, velocity 64, and 0. So great, that's what we want. Let's see what happens when we go up an octave. Up? Okay, no, that's good. When I hit up, it triggered C2 again with velocity 0. And that's our note off. That's what we want. And now when I hit square, we should see C3. And we did not. Aha. Okay. Something odd is happening. So it's not switching the octave. So again, step 1 of debugging is what the hell is going on? What is the pattern here? Our new pattern is we're not changing octaves. Which probably means we broke something with yep, we sure did. This I is no longer connected up where it should be. Alright, let's open the original. We got this, chat. We got this. I should be going over here. Yeah. So that's setting the right operand of our plus. It's getting added to our note that's stored in here. Coming out here. That should do it. Cool. And again, don't get discouraged. This whole debugging process, we're fighting a mini boss here. This is all we're doing. We're trying to get to that next bonfire in Dark Souls. And, you know, we've got the you died screen 3 or 4 times at this point, but that's just part of the game. It happens. Let's try it again. Time for another run. Let's select a note. Let's go with F. How about an F in chat? Give it a velocity. Set our note out. Let's take a look at MIDI monitor. There's an F2. So we've got an F there. We get some Fs in chat. Alright. 64 and 0. Note on, note off. Shit is working. Let's go up. We should see F2 and 0 happen again when I hit up. And then we should see an F3 when I hit the button. And actually, I guess it's worth saying this is another important part of debugging. When you go to test something, know what you're looking for before you do it. Don't just see what happens. Seeing what happens is fine when you're like playing music and you're actually experimenting with things. But when you are in this mode of there's a problem and you're trying to fucking fix it, have an idea of what you expect to happen anytime that you test something. So I expect that when I hit square right now, we should get note on as long as I play it, note off when I let it go. Now when I hit up, I should get that same note with a 0 velocity. Okay, so we did get that, but we also got every other note at the same time going out of the DLS synth. Yeah, okay. Because we didn't set these yet, and because octave up is getting sent to every one of these patches. And it's weird because we should have just gotten a 0 velocity. We shouldn't be hearing that. But we did get the F3 that we wanted. But we did get it with a velocity of 64. Okay, no, that's fine. That's what we want, except we would only want that if we were still playing the note. We want to re-trigger whatever the current velocity is on that new note, ideally. Maybe we should add that later. Maybe what we should do is just say the next button press is going to be in the new octave. And not re-trigger the note. And we did get F2 at 0. So that's cool. We're getting there. We got the "you died" screen again. But we're getting closer, chat. We're gonna get this. Okay. So let's jump back in here. Open original. This is where we're setting our velocity. Okay. So let's take this out. Let's think for a second. Let's say we don't want to play the new note. So we just want to send the octave offset, but we do want to stop the old note. So let's take out steps 2 and 3. Let's simplify. If we can get that working solidly, then we could consider doing it with an instant re-trigger of the note. So now what I'm going to do is just say, take these out, let's put them over here. We're going to just send this integer so that we have the octave offset. And just a bang to say stop the old note. Actually, you know what? Do we even want that? Fuck it. Let's just say the next note you play is up or down an octave. That seems nice to me. And then we can change it if we don't like it. Let's just send the I. I like it. Take that out. Let's get this much working. I is going to go here. In fact, I don't even need this trigger anymore. Or this fucking comment. Fuck everything. Fuck it. Let's put this over here. But not that inlet. This inlet. Alright. And gonna take this stop note out for now, though we might want it later. We might still want that, but let's see how this works. So now what we should get... No, we still want that, because we're gonna get a stuck note still. I think. Whatever, let's try it. Let's see what we get. Set this to C. Set our velocity. Set our note out. Let's see what we get. So, I hit this. We get a C. Great. I hit up. We should now get a C3. Alright. There we go. Let's see if down works. It does. Alright, cool. So that's just playing the note, then hitting the button, then playing a new note. What if I keep holding the button? So playing C2, still holding it, let's go up. Nothing happens, that's good. If I let go, the note does stop. And we get the new note. That's interesting, though, because I kind of would have expected a stuck note there. So if I'm holding C3, and we go down, that's fine. Okay, I think we would have... Yep, check it out. So we are using, because we're using the mellotron, the note just cut off there, even though I have the sustain all the way up. Let's jump back over to the DX7. And then I think this will become apparent. So, you see we got a 0 here when I let go of the button, but it was on C2 instead of C3. So here's C2, we're holding it, we're gonna go up. Nothing should happen yet. But when I let go, we're going to get a C3 note off and a stuck note. Okay. Yep. Okay, we're getting close. So we do still need that note off thingy. Let's get back in. Everyone with me? Feel free to stop me if you have any questions about what the hell is going on. 'Cause, as always, happy to explain, and it's all a work in progress. So what's happening now is we're sending our new octave value here, which is great. Next note that comes in plays at the new octave. That's working perfectly. But yeah, we do still want to stop the previous note. So let's do this. Let's hook this back up. So we're going to store our old note in here. And I think this pack is what's probably giving us problems. Let's use the velocity the same way that we are here. So when we turn a note off up here by letting go of the button, we're just sending a 0 directly into the velocity, and then we're triggering the note that we want. So I think that's what we want to do here. We want to trigger the previous note after triggering a 0 for the velocity. So we're going to receive a bang in here, and we're going to say trigger a 0 and then a bang. The bang is going to go into the I. The 0 is going to go straight over to velocity like we want there. Oh, my neck. My neck is sore. Right, so this I is going to go into the note out here. And the 0 goes to the velocity here. Cool. Let's move this down a bit. We have all this room. Free real estate. Cool. That's better. Now, yeah, let's see what that does. Thinking it through a little bit. So we play a note. It gets shifted up or down an octave. When we let it go, we send a 0 and we re-trigger that note. And when we change this octave, do we want to do it as soon as we change the octave? No. I think that what we want to do is trigger the note off when we let go of the button, right, chat? I guess we could see if this works first, but we'd have to hook it up anyway. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. When we let go of the button, we just want to trigger this note off. So here's our other note off coming from our button. And we would want to trigger probably both, I guess. So this is sending a 0 to velocity. And it's going to send a bang to play note, which is going to turn off the note that's up an octave. I guess we would just want to do it when we change the octave. Alright, let's do that. Let's see how that works. David Grave, thank you for getting my reference. My neck! Shoot him! Anyone see Samurai Cop? It's a really bad movie, but if you watch it on Riff Tracks, it's really funny. Those are like the Mystery Science Theater guys. Alright, so what we want to do is say, let's bring our happy little trigger object back. We're going to say trigger, a bang, and an integer. Does it matter the order? Do we want to stop the note and then change the new note? Don't think it matters. We'll figure it out. We're going to say bang to stop the note. I guess we only have the one of these. See, yeah, okay. Things getting messy. Alright. We probably don't need this send and receive, but whatever. Yeah, okay. We don't need this. But I'm going to say stop current note. And I'm going to comment this and say send new octave. Then I'm going to say stop previous note. Alright, that looks good. So I think we could do this. Well, alright, yeah, let's try this. We're going to say C. We're going to give it a velocity. Send it out here. Feeling good about this. Let's watch in MIDI monitor and hope for the best. Okay, C2, 64, holding the note down, we good. Let it go, does it turn off? It does. Good shit. Good so far. Beardville says, oh man, I want to now. Yeah, you should totally watch that movie, it's hilarious. Good use of time. On, off. Alright, let's go up an octave. We triggered a C20 when we did that. Good, that's what we want. And now we have a C3. Nice. Okay. Now, can we go down? Yes. Oh, heck. So when we went down, we re-triggered the original note as a note off. So that is not correct. Because here, I'll show you why. Let's go up. We're playing C3. Let's hold C3 and then go down. And we have a stuck note at C3. Because we are triggering the original note that we set on the keyboard as a note off, rather than the previously played note. Alright, chat. We died. Let's do it again. We're gonna hit that bonfire, though. We're getting close. So, what we're doing is we're turning the note off, but we are turning the wrong note off. So this I needs to not be coming from the original pitch. This note needs to be whatever the previous note was. So I believe that's going to be this. So including our octave offset. Thinking. Thinking. So, when we go up an octave, so we've got, say, 48 hanging out in here, right? And then we go up an octave, and let's trigger this. We should now get 48, 50, 60, right? Let's give this a bang. I just want to, like, step through this manually. That's a good debugging technique, really. If you can, just step through shit manually when it's getting complicated. So we're going up an octave. So we have a 12 hanging out here. We have a 48 pitch. So let's say we play the note again. We hit that. And, oh yes, then we have to bang to say, play the note. So that would come in there. So we have 60. So that's our new note in our new octave. It gets stored over here in this I box. And then when we let go of it, it would turn off. We have that set over here. And let's say we now go down an octave. Let's see. So when we go down an octave, we still have 60 in here, and it should trigger this. We won't get the new note until we play up here. And now we have 48 in here. Okay, so I think that should do it. Let's give this a try. My gut is saying there will be a way to clean this up, but we're going to keep on keeping on here. Get something that works, clean it afterwards. Let's see what we get. So I'm going to clear this. So we have C2 on, C2 off, C2 on, C2 off. Let's go up. We have C2 off. That's what we want. So now when we play, we should get C3. We do. Good times. Let go, C3 off. Now when I come down an octave, we should get an extra C3 off, just in case. We do. All right. And now when I play it, we should get a C2 on. Yeah! Okay! Okay! The bonfire is within sight, chat. What happens if I'm holding the button is the big question. So we've got C2 on, holding the button. Let's go up. We got a C2 off. Excellent. Our note stopped. It would be great if we now got a C3 on. And we do when I play. Right, we got a C3 off when I let go of the button, and that's fine. And when I go down an octave, we should now get C3 off. Yep. And now C2. Okay. We're getting real close, so now we're not getting stuck notes. And it feels to me, UI-wise, like you really do want that note. It feels weird to go up an octave and have your note stop. You should, if you're gonna adjust it and not have the note continue to play, we should hear the new note. I really feel like that. So, we're doing everything right. We just need to add a trigger that says, play the new note. Alright. So, send new octave. Stop previous note. We need another step here that says start new note. So we've stopped the previous one. And now we just need another bang. So we had the right idea, I think. But, alright, that goes there. Stop previous note. Uh-huh. And now to start the new note, what do we do to play a note up here? We play the velocity. So we're going to need to send a bang here. And then we send a bang to play the new note. So let's do this again. We're going to use a second trigger and say BB for bang bang. Alright. So we've stopped the old note, we're going to start the new note. stringing triggers together like this, we could have made this one big trigger object, which is, excuse me, had to cough violently there. Joking on air. I'm not sick, just joking on air. Okay, so what we tried to do first was one big trigger object, but we tried to do too much that way. So this is doing three things. New octave, stop previous note, start new note. And each of those could be its own trigger. And that's a good way to chain things together and keep them organized. So, because otherwise this would be a trigger with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 different outlets, and that gets pretty gross. I think this should do it. Let's try this. Save, close, lock, make this a C, give it a velocity, set the note out. Let's go over to MIDI monitor. Let's clear it. Let's do it again. We got this, chat. Note on C2. Up. Oh. Oh, that's right. God damn it. Alright. So I'm not playing anything, but we triggered the note on. So we're close, but we actually only want to do that if the note is playing. Alright. So we need kind of an if in there. You died. We're getting close, though. Bonfire is within sight. So, play velocity, and we only want to play the note if the button is down. So that's coming from up here. Let me think. So I guess we want a gate. A gate is like an if. We're going to say 1 and I guess 1. So we're only going to let this bang through if the note is on. And that is going to come from up here. Alright. And we're doing a select 1 here, so I'm going to assume this is really just on-off. As far as I remember, it's either a 1 or a 0. So that, I think, should do what we want. Let's try it. Time to make another run. Here we go. Will we hit that bonfire? Let's go see. Velocity. IAC bus. And now we shouldn't get every note all at once. Clear. Here we go. Note on. Note off. Up. Oh, god damn it. We got the C2 off. C3. So if I go down, do we get C2? We do. And we got the C3 off. Oh, I know. Okay, we're really close. I know why. This is just because I made that gate be on by default. We want it to be off by default. We only want that gate to open if we have pressed the button. So this gate has an initial state of... This means 1 outlet and its initial state is 1. And, just finishing up here, I think. We're about to hit this bonfire. So yeah, initial state of 1, we want this to be off. Let's see. Yeah, so first argument is number of outlets. We want that to be 1. Second argument is initial state. Yeah, so we want 1, 0. Whoops. We're gonna hit save. Oh, my neck. Why does my neck suck? Alright, we can close that. We got this. Gonna make this a C. Gonna give it some velocity. Gonna set this to the IAC bus. We're gonna say square. Yep. On, off. Great. Clear. On, off. Okay, so good. So far, so good. On. Now let's go up. Okay, we got a C2 off. Good. Now when I play, we should get a C3. We do. Down, and we should get a C2. Yep, we did. And we got a C3 off as well. Here, I'll zoom in on this a little bit. I should have been doing that all along. And then moment of truth. Hold down the C2. If we go up, we should get C2 off, and then we should get C3 on. We did! Hallelujah! Oh my god. We've hit the bonfire, chat. Nice. Oh, that was brutal. Thank you for being along for the ride. Oh, Teeth Engraved, my green screen is a little whacked. Thank you. I am, doing my best. I need a new green screen. Thank you. Boy howdy. That was a trip. Thanks for being along for the ride, chat. Let's just add some more notes in here. And, we've learned about MIDI monitor. We've learned about some debugging techniques. And so yeah, first step is always, what the hell is going on? Find a pattern. Don't even think about fixing it yet. Just find a pattern. Then you want to ask yourself, why is this a pattern? What could be causing it? And then trace through it manually if need be, one step at a time. And simplify if you need to. Take shit out until you get one bit at a time working like we did. And then eventually you can put it all back together. And this is just what we wanted at the beginning. We can now shift all of our notes up and immediately hear the result, but without stuck notes. Good God. Yeah, I knew this was going to be a little trickier than it seemed like at face value. Stuck notes can be a bastard. That's why I wanted to have an all notes off. We need a panic button in here. That's definitely going on our list. So yeah, let's just try this out real quick with some more notes. Let's go C minor. F, G, A flat, B flat, C. We got some velocity in there. We all at IAC. Yep. Cool. Oh, I smell popcorn. We're gonna have to finish up, chat, because there's popcorn in the other room, and I'm gonna go eat it, and it's gonna be awesome. Alright. Hope for the best. Sick. Look at that. That's awesome. We have up, down, and octave. We have loud and soft buttons. That's starting to feel like an instrument. We did it, chat. Let's put our joysticks back in. IAC, IAC, IAC. All right. No stuck notes happening. Get some nice little chords out of this. Woohoo! Alright! Back at you, Beard Pills. Glad to get this happening. Oh my god. Yeah, that was a fight, chat. That bonfire was brutal. But we got it. In the end, victory. Or shall I say, prey slaughtered. I think that counted as a boss. Alright, let's save this until next time. And next time, we are going to tackle scales. And it's going to be a time, for sure. Let's go raid somebody. What do you say? We shall call it a night on that. And raid channel. Who's up? Anybody? No. As usual, I'm the only person up right now. I swear I follow people. Nobody to raid. Okay, well, it's just us, chat. I'm going to bid you adieu until next week. And it has been a pleasure. Thanks for hanging out again. And I will see you next time.